fairly simple, straightforward, but again, some details matter. So we can zero out the scale. And then chop up our material, and you guys can all jump in, chop up, or massage, help somebody chop up, or mix it for somebody. But we want to just chop up. So generally we don't use the roots, but with this hyacinth, because it's all kind of out of soil, we do. And we want to make things about the size of like $0.25. So not big, because we want that surface area to be exposed to the sugar. So getting things small so that we get that full fermentation surface area. And then so about a pound gets about a pound of sugar. And then we massage kind of rough. And what we want to do is expose those surfaces of that plant to the brown sugar so that it applies that osmotic pressure, that pulling pressure. So if you spill a little bit of, and because this is really wet, a lot of our weight in that plant is moisture, we might want to add a little more sugar to get that plant material sugar balance right. Because if you look, as soon as I mixed it, I'm really wet already. So I probably want extra sugar, and you can do that by sight or just by kind of feeling out, oh, that plant's got a lot of extra water in it. Papaya, a lot of water. Usually need to use extra sugar if you do like a green papaya. Okay, and then maybe I'll make in this one. Yeah. Take your material, put it in your fermentation vessel, and we cover with a breathable lid. I might make a little bit more, so I ended up a little bit closer to that 2/3, or I use a different size container. But then we take a paper towel and a rubber band, which we got to grab those. I think Mayan has the rubber bands, and Lenaka has the paper towels. But that's it. That will ferment, will separate on its own. You'll separate into solids and liquid. That liquid we strain off. The solids we can use to make a vinegar, or we can use to make an alcohol. So depending on what your production is. Now we can use all the big leaves too. It doesn't need to be just the tiny ones.
Gotcha.
Depending on what your product is, sometimes you might want like a vinegar made out of this, we'd be able to use in place of buying a vinegar for our product. So it just becomes that much cheaper.
You can come on this side. You wouldn't
But
be.
maybe jump in. I'll rinse this out. Jump in and make some comfrey. Just mix it up, just so that you get the experience. Your hands on it, you see it, feel it, touch it, and then any questions that might come out of that. But try touch something, and we will.
Sugarcane? I have a question.
Yeah.
Could you use sugarcane?
You could use sugar cane. Again, maybe a lower yielder, unless you use the young shoots. You could use bamboo shoots, but you want to use them before they get exposed stalks. Just that where it's still kind of in that sheath before it gets hardened off. That hardened off woody material is not going to be conducive for an FPJ.
And so, I mean, in place of
Sugar?
brown sugar,
You know.
Raw sugar? Yeah, raw sugar is better than brown sugar. Well, raw sugar cane doesn't have any osmotic pressure. It's not dry. All right, so osmotic pressure. What is osmotic pressure? Oh, got you. So if they went on a long sea voyage on a boat, right? They want to bring some protein. They bring their fish. And they stick it in a barrel with salt. And why does a barrel with salt prevent any rotting of their protein? all the moisture in that environment is caught. Sugar or salt have the, think of it like a sea, and it's just asking for a water molecule to bind up. And so when you create a scenario where there's more seas or more salt or sugar, these dry things that are asking for a bond, than there are water, it creates a desert. And microbes are just like us. To do any processes, they need water. We can't work for 2 days straight without water. We get kind of tired or slow. Microbes are the same. You put them in an environment with no water, they can't do their processes. They need at least some moisture. So the osmotic pressure, think of it like you spill a little puddle of water on the table, and you take a paper towel and you just touch the corner to that little puddle of water. It sucks the water into the whole paper towel, right? That's osmotic pressure, osmosis, the pull, the pressure of that dry material. So a liquid sugarcane juice has none of that osmotic pressure to yank on the moisture found in the plant material. It's going to bring moisture or be a balance. So it also, by using a dry sugar with equal weights, we're creating a very controlled fermentation process, where we've kind of calculated all the moisture and given a brown sugar, a dry material, in compensation or equal amounts to all the moisture, so that instead of having a runaway, really active fermentation that becomes an alcohol or a vinegar, we have a very controlled, shelf-stable fermentation. It's a very specific window where, with enough sugar, we can get fermentation without it running away. Long explanation of why not fresh sugarcane juice, because we would need dehydrated sugarcane juice to use the sugarcane for this process. But dehydrated sugarcane juice or raw sugar from sugarcane is even better than brown sugar, because brown sugar is processed into white sugar and then they add back the molasses. But we still are getting that nutrient from the molasses and the dryness of the sugar, so it works just fine. But yeah, if you had your own sugar, you could. But we use very little. Comparatively to what you'd think for farming, we're not using a ton of sugar for our farm. We're using a small amount. It's like buying a little gas for your Honda sump pump.
Yeah.
Okay, so your container for mixing
Should be that one.
should be this one, because it's going to be real hard to get your hand in and not spill all over. We're going to do it without rinsing. It's okay.
Okay.
Normally we'd rinse, but the water's off, so. So there's, if we want to grow a plant, there's a need to clear space for the plant to grow, right? Like if I want to grow some kalo, I don't go to a tall patch of guinea grass and stick it in right next to the, guinea grass that's 4 feet tall, because my kalo is not going to thrive, right?
Yeah.
So with learning, my teacher would say you need to start with an empty mind. And he's talking about that same concept, clearing space for an idea, a concept to grow. If we are too smart and too full to learn anything new, regardless of who's teaching it, we are limiting the potential of that idea of having any purchase or bearing fruit in our lives. And so he said, start with a very, very Asian philosophical way of saying it. Must start with an empty mind, but really that concept is more, you have to start with space for an idea to grow, otherwise what's the point? May as well not waste the energy of sticking that kalo in the ground next to the guinea grass. It's never going to be thriving.
Any way to cut it out?
Yeah, so we can, with the mango, we can use the seed and all. So you come in, you can use this one. I like the big, heavy knives because you can go right through everything. But you can just...
Okay.
Yeah, just go through the whole thing.
And you just want to break it up into small pieces?
Yeah, about the size of a quarter. Yeah, just whack them and then throw it in.
You don't have any anger issues?
Yeah. Yeah, get them all out. Get them all out.
Smaller or this is good sizes?
Pretty good size. Yeah, that's about right. You can go a little bit smaller maybe than this or that. But the rest is about right.
Oh, sorry.
Watch out your fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't whack them. His fingers are out of the way, please. So how mixed is it supposed to
That's
be?
perfect. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Now get it into a container for brewing.
Did you weigh out your container, babe? You zero out your container first.
You like use this one for
That's perfect.
them to mix it?
Yeah, they can make.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we make FPJ by itself, meaning we don't mingle a bunch of plants in one container because each plant has living on its surfaces yeast, bacteria, fungi, all the things necessary to ferment itself are on itself. And so if we mix, we might lose the yeast that's on mango to the more strong yeast that's on, halicoa or castor. And so we want them to ferment in their own microbes, and then if we want to use together, we can. So we'd use like 1 to 1,000 of the water hyacinth, 1 to 1,000 of the castor, together to equal 1 to 500. That would be fine. So we store them separate and we ferment them separate.
You guys choose yours first for
Well, all plants are
the
naturally
honey?
yeast.
All plants under a microscope, if you look at them, are covered in wild plants are covered in microbial life.
If you guys find a
But
good
you don't
strain,
want to buy
that's
store-bought
gonna
plants to do this process because all the microbes that a store-bought plant has on it are whatever was on the grocer's hands when he put it out, because they bleach wash it and then they put it out. So there's no good microbes there.
We don't, I mean, we can't see because it's already time.
You know, wash the sugar off.
I know.
We're gonna try this with you, Uncle. You like trichoderma?
I don't know. I don't know if it's enough. You're gonna have one pound.
Yeah, we can make a smaller one with that, or you can make more. We can make a bigger one of this.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Wanna try that?
Yeah, maybe chop up that one. Yeah, we'll make more. We'll make a bigger one. Look how
Maybe we should go
fast
smaller.
we get straight liquid out of that.
Should we go smaller?
Can you show that over here, Chris?
Yeah.
So we see.
And this is a pretty wet plant, but that's what happens with all the plants.
Can we do 2 pounds?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to make all the mango you harvested, trust me.
Okay.
Because when you start tasting that, when it's done, you're going to be like, oh my gosh.
That's how it is.
And then you make the vinegar out of that, the green mango vinegar. Yeah, you're going to make the chili pepper water with the green mango vinegar, and then you guys have products, right?
Mango.
With the vinegar. The vinegar from the mango for the chili pepper water.
Good job, baby. Sugar.
Well,
you
because
wanna
then
be
you got
angry
all
with it?
these
No.
like kind of waste products all of a sudden become prime products or income products for a farm. So yeah, breadfruit skins become the material for growing the microbes out on.
The sugar is